Hello, I'm Hayley from Creative Photo Folk, and today I'm going to take you behind the scenes to show you how I created my artwork, WonderFalls. So I created WonderFalls several years ago, and as is customary for my art process, I tend to create without really any idea of the story that I wish to tell. So only after the fact of its creation did I make up some story about how it signifies presence and stillness and meditative qualities, which is quite ironic because at the time I was not into meditation or any of that, even though I am now, and I find my work is sort of bizarrely prophetic in that things that I've created in the past have sort of come to light in the future. Now, the way I create my art is usually not very linear and it's not very pretty. So that's actually an interesting thing to show you because you'll see that not everything needs to be perfectly cut out. And when I first started, I believed that everything did need to be perfectly cut out. So I spent a lot of time on each of my components making sure they were perfect. But actually, over time, you just learn that that's a waste of time. So let's dive into this image. So I will just turn off all my layers, starting with the self-portrait of myself. So in this image, I am wearing a dress that was my mother's back in the day and a pink wig that I found on eBay. I show you the original. So I actually shot the skirt in a different shot entirely. And then I don't have the original background for the other one, but you can see it in this shot. So I basically just set up a backdrop in my living room with, I think that might be a white curtain. And then there was some natural light just off to my left coming through a window. So as you can see, she's not very well cut out. She is at the top, but not at the bottom. And I didn't have to go to that effort because as you'll see later on, the background will kind of pop in over her. So starting off with the girl, the next thing I did was lighten her up a bit, quite a bit, using a levels layer, as you can see. And then I popped in her flower, which she was holding at the time, and it is a rather large fake flower, but I just made it even bigger for this image. Now, heading down to the background, I started off with this beach image that I shot one morning at a beach, and I ended up not using it. As you'll see, it eventually disappears, but there are some spots where it still shows through. So that's why I kept it in the final composite. And then I popped in a sky in the background. The sky is made up of a couple of images that I overlaid on top of each other, I think just to get a bit more detail. And I did a lot of work to that sky to make it more texturally. So I put some textures over the top and brightened it and changed the color into more of the pinks, just using a curves. So there is a little bit going on with that. Next, I popped in the background for the main image. So as you can see, that has now gotten rid of the background where she was not cut out properly. And this is actually a stock image because I did not at the time have any pictures of waterfalls. And I felt quite bad about using a stock image in this photo. I never normally like to use them if I can get away with it. And I think this is the first time that I did use it as such a main component of the image. So even though I paid for this stock image and it is for commercial use, it just went against my integrity to include it. So where possible, I do like to shoot my own components, and ironically, I was just at a private waterfall only a week ago that my friend discovered in the middle of nowhere. So it would have been perfect for this image, but I didn't have access to it at the time, and other waterfalls in my area are quite difficult to get to. The next thing I did is just brightened all that up a bit. Then you'll just see in this section here, I've added a curve just to darken that down because it was drawing my eye too much, and it just fit, that top bit darker just fits in a little bit better with the bottom there. So it is good to look around your images for the things that distract your eye. Now, I popped in a new mountain because, again, I felt a little bit bad about having a stock image in here and I wanted to use something I'd shot myself. And I also liked that this one kind of popped out rather than these ones which kind of recede. So I shot this out while hiking. I can't show the original image, and the reason I do that is to keep the file size small. I tend to cut out just the portion of the image I need to bring it in. And so yeah, I took this out while hiking, and then I added a little bit of moss over the top. Let's see if we can see that image. I took that on the same hike, and that just covers this kind of raggedy soft edge. And then I darkened that up so it would fit into the scene. So I darkened that up quite considerably with a curves layer. Next, I did the left side. So let me just show you what that involved. So this is what it looked like originally, again, shot from that same hike. And I made it quite a bit darker on the left because it was quite bright in this section here. So made that darker with some curves, and the bottom darker as well. Took out some of the contrast, took out some of the saturation, and then really darkened it down. So these two tend to match. Next, I popped a little bit of moss on top of that one too. Let's see if we can see that original. Yeah, that's taken from the bottom of a tree. I think that might have been actually a different hike, but possibly the same weekend. Then I put in this foreground, which is from a little beach scene. It was just some rocks and a tiny bit of sand that I shot at a beach on the Sunshine Coast in Australia. And then I added in some waves, so just to fill in these sandy areas, because that actually was some kind of pollution. I don't know. It was gross. It was like a sea foamy thing. And so I just got rid of that by adding in some waves that I've photographed at the beach. Next, I made a copy of all those sky layers. And just as you can see, it's a very low opacity over top of the image. And what that does, what that does is kind of ties the mountains into the background. And actually, in retrospect, this is probably my least favorite thing about the image. I don't really like that it's kind of looking glowy and blending into the background. But anyway, regrets. Next, I used a selective color layer and just really brought up the reds and oranges to make it more of a kind of whimsical pink. Then I added in a curves layer that is only applied to the edges to give it a vignette. Next, I think actually that's more of the waves. Let's bring that up for a sec. No, can't show you that one, sorry. But basically what that is just adding, see, like a little sea spray around the bottom of her as if the water's kind of spilling back up as it would in reality. So as you can see, I really think about the details of what will be happening to make it more realistic. Then, again, this is a little distraction. I didn't like how this top of her skirt was kind of popping out, so I used the liquify tool to just move that over. So it's more of a straight line here. Next, I got my brush, a really soft brush loaded with yellow, and I just dotted that into the sky as if there was a little bit of sun kind of going down in the background just to brighten up that part of the image and make it a bit more glowy. Then I added all my toning, and I won't go through that. I tend to add a lot of toning, and I just tend to chuck things on until I actually decide that I like it. So there's really no rhyme or reason for the way I tone. So ultimately, that really just brightens it up a little bit. And then I did a bit of dodge and burning. Now, what's that applying to? I think that's her face. So let's zoom in a little bit. So I really softened up my skin. But this particular image, can you see that? It's taking a little bit of time to render, I think, because I am recording a video at the same time. But essentially, I just got a very soft black brush and painted over the blacks, and then got a very soft white brush and painted over the whites, and it just gives it a little bit more contrast. But you probably can't even see that really doing much. I can hear that my computer's not liking me playing around there, so we'll jump out. This was actually, I kind of flattened the image and then I took it into Lightroom and did my color touches and contrast and things like that in there. Sometimes I just find it a bit quicker and easier to do the toning in Lightroom, and I think that's really added a really nice punchiness to it. It's much more colorful, there's more contrast, and it really draws the eye to the subject. Next, I just put like a color wash over the top, a peachy color, to tie everything together because a bit of compositing had gone on. And sometimes it's good to put something over the top just to tie all your components together. Then I see this little bit here just popped in. So what I did is I took a picture of a plant. I cut out the plant just very loosely, and then I really, really blurred it and put it in the foreground. So it kind of looks like there's something really close to the camera, and that just creates a bit of depth in the image and a bit more interest. I like it. Don't know about you. Now, I also, again, I named another copy of that sky layer or sky layers I used at the bottom and then put them over top. All I've done is set that to 6%. And again, that is just tying the colors together a little better. Takes away some of this contrast over here that was a bit distracting to the eye and just balances it out a little better. And then finally, this is quite a hard one to see. We'll zoom in again if my computer lets me. And really that was just a healing layer where you'll see her arm is quite contrasty here. And so I just use a very light paintbrush to paint away that seam and make it look more realistic. Now you might not notice that looking at it on a screen like this, but you know, when I print it at a 20-inch or bigger size, details like that will stand out. So it's just something I like to do is zoom in, look all around my image just to see if there's any problems, and I fix little areas like that up. So this image is actually my mother's favorite. And for me, it's just a nice reminder to look at, to remind myself to embrace the stillness and the present moment in life, and to stop worrying about the stresses of the past or the anxieties of the future, just to be in that present moment, appreciating what you have. And as always, there is an exploration of being one with nature that tends to creep into my work all the time. So that's it for WonderFalls. I hope you have enjoyed this little journey into my creation process, and stay tuned for more. If you'd like to see more, be sure to subscribe so we can stay in touch. Happy creating. Bye.